Mark.
1, 2, 3. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Reactions. That's Will.
Hey, everybody.
I'm Angelo. That's Ethan. Let's get to it. All right, first game. Thursday Night Football was the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. We all picked Cleveland, and we were all correct. Cleveland wins. Bizarre ending, but they take it 29-17. There you go. Everyone gets a point. Ding, ding, ding. First game, Sunday slate, New Orleans Saints at the Carolina Panthers. It was a close one, but we all picked New Orleans, so none of us get a point on that one. Carolina gets the win, their first win of the season. Next game, we got the Chicago Bears hosting the Houston Texans. And the Bears squeak out a win against the Texans. This is another close game for the Texans, though. Like, what are they going to do this year? Are they going to just be this team that gets real close and almost wins? But we all pick Chicago. Everyone gets a point. Point.
Every time that game came on Red Zone, it was not good news for the Bears. So I don't know how the Texans choked that one away, but every time they were showing it was a turnover.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to dive too deep into the stats and all, but they got the win. That's all that matters. And the Texans are still waiting for that first win. Next game. Wow. So after we made our picks, we all picked Kansas City. But all week, everyone was like, this is the game for Indy. This is the one Indy's going to get. Indy. Did you hear that? Like, everyone was saying how Indy was going to win this game?
Yes, I did.
No.
They're one.
Shut out by the Jaguars. They're terrible.
But hey, any given Sunday, they beat the Chiefs. Yep. I don't know what's going on with Patrick Mahomes, but I guess he's really missing Tyreek. Speaking of Tyreek, Buffalo Bills go into Miami, and man, Miami Dolphins 3-0. Really, they were riding that wave from the Raven game, and they did it. Buffalo had a chance at the end, ran out of time. Offensive coordinator destroyed the booth.
Big takeaway from that game is that butt punt.
Yes, that was another thing that happened. Yeah,
I think Mark Sanchez said something too, but I didn't look in to see what he said because
I watched
butt fumble commented on the butt punt. So
silly stuff, but hey, that's why putting in your own end zone it's tough sometimes. And
I mean, honestly, when I saw it live, I thought he just kicked it backwards. Like,
yeah,
it looked so weird. And as soon as he kicked it, the punter was like, "Oh gosh!" You could see him look up and back immediately.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Damn, how'd he kick it backwards?" But
hey,
his own guy.
Yeah, what?
All right, yeah. So we all picked Buffalo, and we all didn't get a point. All right, so that was the end of our run of. We all picked the same teams last week. Now it starts to switch up a little bit, and this is where the one of us starts pulling away from the other. So. First game we got that we picked differently was Detroit at Minnesota. Will and Ethan both took Minnesota. I took Detroit, who technically is still the league's leading scoring team this year still. But they didn't score enough points against Minnesota, and Minnesota wins 28-24. So Ethan gets a point, and Will gets a point. There you go.
Let's go.
Next game. We'll talk about this one a little bit. Baltimore Ravens going into Foxborough to play the New England Patriots. Will took Baltimore. I took Baltimore. Ethan took New England. That's part of his strategy, though, every week. He's going to pick against the Ravens.
It depends on what team they're playing. If they're playing like a bad team, that's when the Ravens go.
You'll just pick the Ravens.
But if I'm thinking like
up
if
and down
it's a
game.
good team, but like they're technically like the Ravens are like on fire now, that's probably when I'm going to pick the Ravens.
Okay. But then that way though, if the Patriots would have won, you would have been upset the Ravens lost, but you would have got a point like you did last week.
Yeah.
With the Dolphins game. It's a good strategy. All right, so Will took Baltimore, give him a point. I took Baltimore, take a point. Ethan took the Patriots, doesn't get a point in that one. Will, one good thing about the Baltimore Raven defense. Go ahead. Give me one good thing you saw from the Raven defense yesterday.
So I couldn't actually watch the game; it wasn't on TV, but I did see Kyle Hamilton chase down that receiver and force that fumble, and that was pretty big in the fourth quarter for a rookie to track him down and force that fumble. So that made me quite happy for him.
After last week too, in the Dolphin game, how bad he did for him to come back and have a good game, against the Patriots, who were passing the ball pretty good. Devontae Parker showed up in this game big time, and I mean, Mac Jones is hurt now. The last play of the game, he Calais Campbell, laid right on his ankle. So we'll see how many games he said he might miss a couple games, so we'll see. But yeah, I really think the defense showed back up. Turnovers, Marlon Humphrey had a pick, Marcus Peters had a pick, Patrick Queen almost had a pick. So it's a big plays for the defense at the end to seal the game where they didn't make them against Miami. All right, one positive about the Raven offense I liked was we ran the ball better this week, and J.K. Dobbins came back, but it wasn't J.K. that impressed me. It was Justice Hill. Justice Hill impressed me a lot this week. There was a run where he went right, cut back left, and got a huge gain to set up a touchdown to Josh Oliver. And that drive was great, and it really looked like good 2019 Raven football to me. Running the ball, controlling the clock, and scoring a touchdown at the end. So I was really impressed with that. Also, Devin Duvernay had a great punt return. The punter stopped him. So that's just if he was able to get around the punter, he would have scored a touchdown easily. But he made up for it with a great catch in the corner of the end zone. So all in all, I think the Raven offense is fine. They're doing great every week so far. This defense gets it together and, gets the turnovers that they got this week. I think we're going to be fine. But it's going to be a tough challenge next week. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, cool. Moving on. Another game where we all picked the same team. Cincinnati Bengals going into New York. We all picked Cincinnati, and Cincinnati gets their first win of the season, 27-12. The Joe Flacco jet experiment. It's probably going to end this week, I would think, unless I don't know. I don't think
unless
Joe Flacco's going to start this game. It's done. Okay, great. It was fun. Now let's build the guy that we got here for the rest of the year.
Won already.
You got to build your for the future. All right, Joe Flacco's not the future. Next game, Las Vegas Raiders at the Tennessee Titans. These two teams are both looking for their first win. Will and I picked the Raiders, and Ethan picked the home team, Tennessee Titans. And sure enough, Tennessee Titans won. So, Ethan, it's a point. We don't get a point. Wow. Ethan, that was a pretty good pick right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about this one. Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Commanders. We all picked Philly. We were all on the Jalen Hurts train last week, thanks to Ethan. And we all thought they were going to take care of business, and they did, 24-8. They won the game easily. Fact or fiction last week.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk about this in the Raven game either with you, Will. So we might as well do them both now. Fact or fiction for Ethan was Jalen Hurts would throw over 300 yards again.
And run.
No, it was just he would pass over 300 yards. And he did. He passed for 340 yards in this game. So, wow. Jalen Hurts, man.
I definitely watched this one because my dad likes the Commanders. Stepmom likes the Eagles. So they watched this like all day.
So you did watch this game?
Yeah.
And I guess the Eagles took care of business the whole way through?
And when the Eagles was like, when it was like a blowout when it was like a blowout, they put on red zone after, but yeah.
Red zone, man. Yeah. Will, what do you think? Think Philly's for real?
I'm glad you asked me that. So here's the one thing. I can tell you, I mean, this can be a hot take, but I don't think they're definitely a Super Bowl team like Ethan thinks, because in my opinion, the Super Bowl team shouldn't give up the safety that they gave up when they were up by that much. I don't know what they're doing. They can't get out of the end zone. Can't give that safety up. But the game was already out of hand, so it didn't really matter.
Okay, there you go. All right. Sounds good to me. I mean, counterpoint, Ravens took a safety in the Super Bowl and they won. So
yeah, but that was a strategic safety. This was we can't move the ball forward.
I mean, hey, Maybe would have been. Maybe it was one of those. We don't want to punt out of our own end zone. Just give them the 2 points, punt it to them, and play good defense.
We see how well punting out of the end zone worked for. Actually, I guess both teams that gave up safeties this week ended up winning.
Hey,
Maybe
Angelo.
that's the
Hey.
thing. Maybe you just take
Strategic.
the kickoff, run out of the end zone, run back through the end zone, start behind 0-2, and then just.
It's so
You
far.
can't
I
tell me
mean,
not. You can't tell me not to.
factor fixture for next week. I think you just gave it to us. Teams that get a safety will go
What
undefeated
if
next
you
week.
watch the video?
No. But yeah, there you go. So the Eagles are 3-0, and they don't seem like they're slowing down. They definitely seem like they remind me of the like a Kansas City Chiefs team, the 2019 Baltimore Ravens team, a team that just they're moving forward right now. The momentum's with them. They're carrying it through, and they're doing everything right. I don't see a hole in their team yet, so definitely exciting to watch them play and get better each week.
I mean,
All right, this is go ahead.
You could also argue that they haven't really played anybody either. So
Ooh, okay, all right, okay.
And
But then again,
I still think they look very good. Don't get me wrong; they look very good. But at the same time, you could argue that they haven't really played anybody.
to counter that point, they shut down Justin Jefferson. They played great in that game. I mean, defense don't lie. If you ask me, I think the way offenses are this in the NFL now, their defense is pretty good right now compared to some others. So, and if Jalen Hurts keeps playing the way he's playing, smart and holds the ball, doesn't turn it over, and can run and pass 300 yards a game, he's gonna do a good job.
Angelo.
Do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Cool. This game is the one I think that really set the winner this week above everybody else. So everyone got a point for Philly, by the way. Philly. Cool. Jacksonville at Los Angeles Chargers. Will picked the Chargers. I picked the Chargers. Ethan picked Jacksonville, and then he was going back and forth, literally as we were making the video. He went Jacksonville, then he's like, no, I want to go to Chargers. I said, you got one more chance before I hit the play button. What do you want to do? And he said, no, I'll go back to Jacksonville. I said, good, stick with your gut. Just do it. And sure enough, look at this score, 38-10. Justin Herbert, he did play, right?
He played, yeah.
He must have took the shot and he was wearing the black jacket.
Yeah, I mean, they were saying he was obviously wincing after like every pass, so he wasn't 100%.
Right.
And I will admit that scared me. That's on a video.
It was. You said that, but you still picked the Chargers. And I didn't even bat an eye. I'm like, the Jaguars aren't ready yet. I just feel like the Jaguars haven't taken that next step. But 38 points against a Chargers team that, should be competing for the playoffs this year.
Something was going
Yeah,
on.
I mean, I'm interested to see how this Jaguars team turns out because of Doug Peterson winning the Super Bowl with the Eagles. Kind of got ran out of town there. They chose Carson Wentz over him. Carson Wentz isn't in Philly anymore. They move on. Their Eagles are doing well, but did the Eagles make a mistake in letting Doug Peterson go? But at the same time, they're doing fine. So I'm interested to see how this Jaguars team turns out with Doug Peterson.
That Super Bowl against the Patriots, he called a great game, and they got a statue of the dude in Philadelphia because of the Philly special. So it's crazy that they were able to let him out.
If you were to ask me, 3 weeks ago at the start of the season, are the Jaguars going to win the AFC South? You would say no way, but they look like they got a shot. I mean, who are they competing against?
Indy.
I mean, the Titans don't look great. Indy.
Texans have these close games.
So that'll be a good division.
It's going to come down to the head-to-heads in that division. It's going to be, those teams play each other really tight. So it'll come down to that. Tennessee might gain a game or two in those division games. But if Indy right now is probably feeling really good after beating the Chiefs. So it's going to be fun to watch. Definitely fun to watch. If there's one thing, like we said before we started, if there's one thing we learned this week is we know nothing. We know nothing about anything because some of these picks were crazy this week. All right, let's move on. Let's get through these. Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. I picked Arizona. I thought they were going to ride the big comeback win and take care of business at home. I was wrong. Ethan and Will were right. So Ethan and Will get a point there for the Rams. I lose it on that one. Okay, next game. Atlanta at Seattle. Ethan picked Seattle. I picked Atlanta, and Will picked Atlanta. and Atlanta wins 27-23. Next game, Green Bay Packers at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Battle of the Bays. Ethan took Tampa Bay. Will took Tampa Bay. I took Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers with no receivers. Well, we learned one receiver's name this week, and it's Romeo Dobbs. There he is. And it was going to take an unknown receiver to make a play in this game to win it, and I think that's what did it. The Buccaneers didn't have a guy. They just didn't have a receiver show up. And Tom Brady broke how many tablets this week? So that's all I kept hearing about this game was the tablets, the 2-point conversions, and delay of games.
I mean,
So
I did say it would come down to a defensive play. I didn't say it would be the quarterback. So there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Can't pick a game, but I know how it's gonna go.
I'm telling you that touchdown to the rookie, it was big for the Packers. Ethan, are you gonna continue picking against the Packers this year, or are you gonna jump back on the Packer train, man?
See, ever since I picked against the Packers, they've lost. I mean, they won.
Right.
But when I pick them, they lose.
Gotcha. So man, let me talk this out for you.
No, first
You
of
like the
all,
Packers so much, you're not gonna pick them because you want them to win.
Yes.
Got it. Last game, Sunday Night Football, San Francisco 49ers at the Denver Broncos. Oof. Miserable game.
I don't know what I was doing, but I had no idea that this game was even on TV.
It was lucky you. Lucky you.
Yeah, you would have been miserable.
It was a pretty bad football. I mean, just look at the score.
Yeah.
Colorado Rockies versus the San Francisco Giants here in a big game. Denver made the plays though at the end, and give them credit, but I don't know. San Francisco definitely needed a game, I think, just to get under their get the jitters out. Jimmy Garoppolo back, trying to lead the offense. So I think it's going to take them a couple weeks to get back together. But hey, Broncos are 2-1, and their coach was on the hot seat already, and he seems like he's got his job secure now. So good for them. I took San Francisco though, and you took San Francisco. Well, Ethan's the only one who took Denver. So with this game, boom, Ethan was up. So the last game of the week, Monday Night Football, let me put it down here, was going to decide who won this week. It was either going to be a tie between Will and Ethan, or it was going to be Ethan win straight up. And the winner of week 3 pick'ems, who picked the Dallas Cowboys, was Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan wins this week straight up. No rock, paper, scissors. Okay. I picked the Giants. I was high on the Giants. Gerber picked the Giants. I guess I convinced him. And Dallas showed up, and Dallas took care of business. Stat I heard though last night.
So
Of all the quarterbacks, ready? Who do you think runs the most per play, per game?
Jalen Hurts.
No. Who do you think runs?
Daniel Jones.
Dan Jones, man. He runs the most. And I didn't know that the new coach for the Giants was the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. But now that makes sense because Josh Allen was a runner, in the system too. So, yeah, Dan Jones is definitely part of that system.
Angelo.
Yeah, in fact, he runs so much. I think last year, didn't he run on 4th and 10 QB sneak?
Yeah. He got probably 4 or 5 of their first downs last night because he just ran designed run plays, right from quarterback.
So I heard on TV that Daniel Jones was turning into a flat balloon.
Because he was getting sacked so much?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
And it's like if you could put a pan there, you could be a scrambled egg.
Mm-hmm. Other things I remember this game, a lot of drops from Saquon dropped 1. CeeDee Lamb dropped 1. He made up for it later in the game, but yeah, just good football though. I enjoyed it. Ethan wins this week. Awesome stuff. Time to do our new segment real quick. Fact or fiction. Will, sticking with the Ravens this week with you. Lamar Jackson, okay, has more touchdowns than 30 NFL teams. Okay. There's only one team that doesn't have more touchdowns than that's the Detroit Lions. And of course, the Baltimore Ravens. So, fact or fiction, next week, Lamar will have the most touchdowns of over 31 teams.
I think that's fiction. I think the Lions will stay on top. They're playing the Seahawks, so
Okay.
Give me the Lions leading the league in touchdowns.
All right. So fiction, Lamar will not lead all the teams. The Lions are going to take care of business against Seattle. Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right. Ethan, there are only 2 undefeated teams in the NFL this week. The Miami Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles. Fact or fiction, both teams lose next week.
I think that's fiction.
Fiction.
I think that at least one of them are.
Gotcha. Okay, so you think there will still be one undefeated team, at least one
At
undefeated team
least
next
one. My bet is 50% on 2 and 100% on 1.
week? Okay, well, there you go. All right, so fact or fiction, find out what happens. Ethan's the winner of week 3. Ethan has either won or tied every week this week, so we'll find out tomorrow who he picks and see if he can continue his winning/not losing streak. It might be
Just cut that out. Just cut that all out. Just move on.